Hi, so I work at the Carnegie Institution Department of Global Ecology, which is really part of Carnegie Institution, but it's located on Stanford campus. And so, this is on. So, and I research a whole range of things having to do with climate change and ocean acidification. And tonight this program is about non-traditional ways of addressing this climate, carbon, energy problem. And the general rubric is the word geoengineering. I just want to start off by putting that in a broader context. And you can think of this whole problem. So one of the things that got me involved in this whole area is just looking at curves like this, where this is a range of scenarios from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and predictions of amounts of climate change. And if you notice that all of these, even the most optimistic scenario, temperatures continue to increase throughout this century. And so right now we're evolving along the upper end of this trajectory. And if we work really hard to reduce emissions, tell Will that.
If I may, I got a question. Growing up in the 60s and 70s, my dad and I used to look at clouds all the time. We would see the cumulus clouds, you see cirrus clouds. Now, everybody's talking about it. You see these long striations throughout the sky. You see planes, wait, hold on a second. You see planes from horizon to horizon, and these things don't dissipate. They expand, they contract, and they make the entire sky milky. And I believe you're in the film, What in the World Are They Spraying? You're at the symposium in San Diego, and Dane Whittington, who's an expert in solar energy, who owns 2,000 acres in Shasta, his energy is depleted 60%, solar energy 60%. They do all these tests. They're peer-reviewed reports too, I believe. You're scientists. And they show you that strontium, barium, and magnesium and aluminum have skyrocketed throughout Shasta County. And they notice it's happening in generally the NATO countries. So what is that? If you guys aren't doing this geoengineering, what the hell is it then?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, first of all, I don't know if it's real or not, but if it weren't, because I don't believe it's real. I think it's just normal jet contrast, but I don't really have all the information. But I'm pretty sure it's not climate, because just that I don't think the Bush administration and Dick Cheney cared enough about climate to have a secret program to try to address the climate issue.
Do you think President Obama cared?
No, I don't think, not really.
I can't stand that.
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, I think that and I've talked to people, who have military backgrounds saying, oh, well, do you think it's maybe part of some radar interference thing? And and they said, well, no, there were experiments on that, like with World War II, putting particles out to interfere with radar, but that experiments, nobody's doing that anymore.
But do you know Rosalia Peterson, who was actually working for the FDA? She was actually hired through the government to go out there and analyze the soil. And she found out through the study of the soil to see why all the crops were depleting and the trees were depleting. She noticed all these striations in the sky, and she went to the FAA and she asked the FAA to give all the reports on all the interflight. And she proves in her video and presentations around the world that the FAA released at NASA that these weren't standard flights from just commercial airlines. These were out of the military. You can see it, you can Google it. I'm sure you've heard of her name. And you didn't answer my question, though, about Dane Whittington, when they find out that 375,000 particles per billion are in the soil and in the snow and in the water. How do you account for that? And they're noticing the same thing. He's an expert who worked for Bechtel for years. It is going on right now. It's been going on for at least 18 years. The geoengineering. Well, I know you know it is.
No, why do you say things that you don't know to be true?
Because I do. I ran for Congress last term, and did you ever see the film What in the World Are They Spraying? Okay, well they go to Congress with it. They go to Congress with it. They present it to Dianne Feinstein and everybody else. Here's what you get. You haven't seen this film? It's wonderful. It came out last year. As scientists, you really need to see it, because in that film they also ask, what detrimental effects is it going to have on human population or the animal life? And they said, your scientists you're with said it could be terrible. We don't know.
The question is, what would be the effects of these materials on human health if they came down into the stratosphere, in particular small particles and aluminum?
So the collaborators of mine working on the aerosol scheme are actually folks from Carnegie Mellon who focused on human health impacts. And while we haven't published it, that was the very first thing we did, was do the order of magnitude calculation in level pencil and paper but with an expert on human health impacts about whether there could be an issue. And for aluminum or other particles, there are a lot of toxicological things that need to get looked at seriously. But if you're just thinking about the sheer number of particles and the human health impact of small particles, the answer is, well, we haven't published it. That was the first thing we looked at with some of the leading experts who do epidemiological research on human health impacts, and it's not even close to being an issue.
Clarify, so 10 megatons of aluminum dumped into the atmosphere would have no human health impact.
So let me be more careful here. We're to separate out the toxicological. So the alumina, we've only begun to research and published nothing.
When are you going to know? And why are these lines? Why are these lines throughout the sky now? Why is my dad at age 87 saying, who was in intelligence in the army for years, saying this isn't natural? It's geoengineering. Contrails. These aren't contrails. These are going from the horizon to the horizon. Contrails. Hold on a second. You guys are scientists. Hold on a second. Contrails, it has to be 47 degrees below zero. It has to be the perfect atmosphere for it. We're talking about in Shasta County, it was 102 degrees that day.
But why do you think it's climate change? Why do you think they care enough about climate change?
I'm a pilot.
Well, that's fine.
So I know what the temperature is at 30,000 feet, and it's about 100.
So why are you seeing them? They used to go 25 lengths of the plane. Now we're seeing them from horizon to horizon. And why are they finding?
Why do you think it's climate change? Why do you think
Why are they finding barium? Why are they finding strontium? Why are they finding aluminum? Why are they finding magnesium?
Answer one of my questions. Why do you think that they care enough about climate change to have a secret program to address the climate
tell
change?
me. You guys are the scientists.
I don't think.
My question to you is, why was Rosalia Peterson, who travels the world, who has a scientific background, why is she showing NASA in the FAA report showing these aren't natural flights, these aren't normal flights? You're a pilot. Why is that?
Answer me one question.
Contingencies. They want contingencies.
Okay.
What do we do if the Earth raises hot?
Okay, but first of all, if you want if you want a contingency plan, then you'd be looking at putting particles in the stratosphere for climate. And so just having these planes flying around the upper troposphere, that's not where you do it. And so, first of all, my guess is they're contrails. I haven't studied it, but I can tell you that Dick Cheney does not care enough about climate change. So then why do you think that there's a secret program to address the climate issue?
Tell me this.
No, you tell me. Answer my question. If you're not going to answer my question,
I don't trust you.
Okay, well, I'm not going to
But tell me this. When Dane Whittington presents this to you, why do you not see his movie at least? And why do you run off?
Because if somebody doesn't trust me, I don't talk to them.
It's happening. I mean, they're already doing it. We know it. But if you're a pilot, you know what's going on.
It's a state of
First of all, there's lots of pilots that don't necessarily know everything that's going on.
Well, that's for sure. But you're telling me that's a normal contrail we're seeing throughout the skies in grids?
See, yeah.
For horizon to
Jet
horizon
planes make contrails.
Expanded? They did not.
But did they make them before 1998? Have you seen any picture pre-98
No,
with a line going from horizon to horizon?
You're telling me that contrails didn't exist.
25 places
Persistent contrails.
Expanded to whisper clouds throughout the day.
A normal contrail will last for a minute. These expand into clouds.
So
Go to the
let me
airport,
ask you
look
guys a
at
question.
the-
Okay, because you guys are saying a bunch of stuff. I've generally looked at chemtrails. I'm not part of the government conspiracy that's doing them, so I don't know. So I'm asking you guys.
Sure.
Okay.
It's climate also.
So let me just ask you some questions. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Military and commercial, or just military?
Evergreen. You used an evergreen plane in your slide projection. Evergreen. They're a company using them.
One proposed way.
I met a pilot.
Let me just ask you a question.
Okay, please do.
So, commercial and military, or just military?
No, I'd have to say military.
Okay, so that therefore the contrails coming off of commercial planes would be different than the ones coming off of
No. Now hold on, I can get you on this one. How many times have I looked in the sky and noticed a commercial airline? I live right near Oakland, San Francisco area.
Yeah.
I know where they're flying their routes every day. You'll see them coming, okay? 35,000 feet, okay? I'm in Martinez, so I'm east of this.
Sometimes they have contrails,
hold on.
sometimes they don't.
There's no contrail, and it's the same height, you can tell, same size plane. I've had binoculars on, everything else. That plane has a gigantic contrail, you call it.
Absolutely.
Why?
Atmospheric conditions change. We're that as a pilot.
Same time,
Same level. Oh, okay. You're saying there's two
Yeah,
scientists. I haven't observed that phenomenon, so I don't know.
Okay, well, here's the evidence.
Hello, the library's closing now, so please make it to the upper level. Thank you.
So yeah, look at pictures 398.
398. Okay.
And that's not the starting point.
Contrails in this phase is the result of the contrail spreading out. Even if it's not sinister and it's only water vapor, isn't it not geoengineering?
Yeah, well, they don't. It's all controlled.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everything that we do is geoengineering. Certainly contrails that reflect stuff.
Okay, everyone, please. Time to go.
Hey, thank you, though.
Alright, so you guys like the...
Hey, would you watch the film? What were they spraying at least?